Hey everybody, welcome to my daily chat today. And today is a very historic day because we now have the big US election, Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump. It's happening tonight. The polls are coming in. And since I'm very passionate about politics, I thought I'd talk a bit about, what are the most important lessons when it comes to politics. And again, I'm here every day around 5 p.m. to share my thoughts. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Comment below, share your questions, share your topic suggestions. It's been a really, really bitter, divisive campaign. 90% of the advertising was negative. A lot of people are spewing a lot of divisive, hateful rhetoric. A lot of it has been created by the culture of Trump, for the most part. Although, again, negative ads by Hillary also don't help. But again, she's using just Trump's own words. But what's the biggest lesson I've learned from this? And again, if you like what you're hearing, share, comment. I'd love to get your comments below. The biggest lesson I've learned is empathy matters. Empathy matters. And it doesn't matter whether you're into politics or whether you're not into politics, or whether you're, you hate the media, you love the media, or you are annoyed with the comments on your feed or not annoyed with the comments on your feed. We have to be willing to understand one another. Empathy is the act of understanding one another and knowing where people are coming from. So if I want to have better gun control, I need to understand where gun control enthusiasts are feeling. If I want to have better policies that address the entire nation, I need to understand where everyone is sitting. It doesn't matter whether Hillary or Trump wins, and I know Trump has major struggles with empathy if he does win, and I hope he doesn't, but if he does, then hopefully he surrounds himself with a team that can have empathy. But if Hillary wins, again, more empathy would be important because it's going to be divisive. I mean, if they don't get let's say Hillary wins the election, but then doesn't get the Senate or the Congress, then it'll be very divisive. There'll just be an obstructionist government, and they'll start blaming her for not getting anything done. And I know Obama struggled with that too, although he's done very well for himself. So empathy is really important. There's going to be a huge rift, a huge divide, people feeling miffed, but people get really, really caught up. They get really emotional. They get the empathy that's lacking makes them focus only on themselves, on their needs, their issues, what they care about. Whether it's I care about guns, I care about birth control, I care about women's rights, I care about equality, whatever it might be, we get caught up in it. And so my biggest fear is that there's going to be violence at the polls, there's going to be violence after when the results come in, there's going to be a lot of bitterness and divisiveness. Even now, the Supreme Court justice, that was selected by Obama has been waiting 8 months to be selected because they didn't want to do anything, even though it's against the Constitution. So what does that tell you? It tells you that it's divisive. And so for me, I hope people are nice with the polls. I hope people are nice with the results. Take the results, make them. There's nothing wrong with calling out the leadership and calling out the politics and say, listen, we want change, we want something better. But when the results and the people have spoken, you have to respect that to a certain point, and you have to go with the process, make the best of it, give them some chance to try to make some do. And then, even here in Canada, we had an election. Justin Trudeau was elected for a year. Now it's been a year now. Now I'm really gunning hard on him to get stuff done. First 3 months, pretty easy going. Let's see what he does. He made a bunch of good moves. Same with Hillary or Trump. Although again, I'm predicting Hillary's going to win, whether it's a landslide or a decisive victory, we'll see. But again, empathy I think is going to really matter because people get really caught up. People have said very, very harmful, hurtful things on Twitter, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on comments. It's really kind of concerning. So to me, empathy is the biggest lesson I've learned, that we have to be able to understand one another and reply with the intent to understand as opposed to reply or listen with the intent to understand versus listen to the intent to reply. We need to stop rebutting and just focus on listening. That to me is so, so critical. And then the second thing I think I want to talk about is this whole distrust of media and evidence and data. I think a big thing that's lacking, not only in the very difficult and complex process of the American electorate system, is just the critical thinking skills of people. And for the most part, we have a difficulty being able to take that. People will offer evidence, people just completely reject it. People will mention something and they'll just get angry because we don't really understand how to critically think or how to critically discuss the issues. They cite wrong data, or they take data, they don't trust it. And so I'm not sure where that's going to go. It's the internet age and it's the social media age, and there's lots of memes out there and people have a hard time with that. But there are ways you can, cite and vouch for pieces of information that's out there. And it doesn't mean it's not a simple Google search, but there are ways to figure those things out. But I certainly hope that we'll be able to understand and focus on our facts versus on you're entitled to your own opinions. You're not entitled to your own facts. So it's important for people to understand that when it comes to the political process. And why do I think that Hillary's going to win? Well, for the most part, I think that the Hispanic vote and the young voters and the women voters are probably going to carry the day for her. I think it's a numbers game, so I think that's why it's going to happen. Other lessons that I've learned, and again, what are the lessons you've learned during this whole thing? Comment below. Let me know what you're thinking. I'm curious what you thought. What do you think is going to happen? It's going to be rough, I think, the first few years for Hillary if she wins. Assuming she wins. But yeah, how's that going to play out? I have no idea. So what do you guys think? I'd love to hear your thoughts below. And other lessons you've learned during the whole political process. Another thing I've learned through the political process is that there's a lot of issues, a lot of things that people are hurting for, but often the biggest thing that really always gets to me is the fact that whenever you confront anyone with any sort of issue, whether it's Hillary's issues or Trump's issues, or during the primaries with Bernie and Kasich and Jeb Bush and those guys, people just don't answer the question. They deflect, they defer, and it's so important for us to really try to understand the question. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging flaws in your leader. No one's perfect. Everyone's got flaws. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging the flaws in your leader. And if you can acknowledge the flaws in another leader that you don't agree with, and you can't acknowledge the flaws in your own leader, that to me says that you're biased or you're blind like sheep. Anyway, that's all I want to share. Have a good night.